I was just $70 away from hard breaching my FundingPips 100k challenge, but then the turnaround. So at this point of the challenge, I started to get emotional because I wanted to pass it as quick as I can. Because for me, I was already 1 month into my phase 2, which for me, that's a very long time. I usually just go for it and risk 2% a trade. I'm going to walk you exactly through as how I almost blew the account just in one trade and one day. The next day, I did turn it around and I officially passed another 100k with FundingPips. Come with me. Here's the trade that nearly ended my whole 2 months journey trading this one FundingPips account. Okay, so as you guys can see, literally I lost minus 2.9%, which means that my daily drawdown actually is 3%. So I almost blew it. I just had $70 left for that day. And if I went minus another $70, I would have blew the whole account. But that was for a break even. And then we did make 6.3k to officially pass the phase 2 FundingPips 100k account that I have been documenting with you guys. I haven't been trading this account that much because for me it's been a bit slow. Like you can see here, it's just been like break evens apart from obviously this. This was a break even week. This was a plus 2.9k week. I wanted to pass it as quick as I can. So I basically risked more than I should have. 2.9k for a 1-to-1, which didn't actually happen. And then I almost blew the account because I was just $70 away from my max daily drawdown, which would have blown the whole account. This is where I got emotional, guys. Normally I don't get emotional, but for some reason it happened. I was really rushing it. I even traded the time zone that I normally don't trade. I normally trade 2:30 p.m. London session, and for this trade, I didn't do that. I traded just before New York Open. This is the trade that I was going through. We was currently on a bearish trend, as you guys can see clearly. We was on a bearish trend, right? And my opinion was that with this trend, this was going to create a lower high and we was going to have a continuation down. So I basically traded it based off my emotions, no confirmation. What I done was as soon as I saw that this candle engulfed the previous 30-minute candles, I decided to just take an entry. And the problem with me just taking an entry like that was, yes, it did go down and I did get just a bit over a 1-to-1. I was risking 1.5%, which means that I was basically up about $2,000, which means I only needed 1% to pass. And the problem with that was I just said, let me just hold it, take another 100 pips, and then I will pass, right? Instead of me losing 1.5% and me still being up 1.5%, I thought, okay, maybe we're going to touch this resistance zone, this level here. This was also a key level at the time for me. And I just said, let me just put my stops above a bit, risk 2%. As you guys can see, this thing went crazy. So on that 15-minute close, 4420, I thought, okay, maybe now we're just going to come and tap 4404 and then reject, and we're just going to have a continuation, right? That was my assumptions. Of course, my assumptions were wrong. It just wicked me out. But saying that, when I did see we close at 4402, I said, let me put my stops up a bit more higher, 4420, and make sure that I'm just below my daily drawdown. And of course, it just continued going bullish. As you guys can see, like, yeah. Thank God for having a daily drawdown because it is a hard breach if I did do it. I mean, my issue was, right, this is not my time to be trading. This is 11:30 p.m. a.m. It's 11:30 a.m. London time. I do not trade that time. So I was way too early. I shouldn't have even been. My time to be trading was 2:30 p.m. London time, which is about 9:30 p.m. Philippines time. So that's usually the time that I will be trading. And with this big bullish engulfing, I probably would have taken longs and actually cleared the account. But this gave me a major reset because I basically didn't stick to my plan, which is a problem. As you guys can see, I did officially pass with a 43% win rate, average win of 2k and an average loss of 1k. But my max biggest loss was 2932, which is insane. Like, I should never lose that much, ever. And I'll break you guys through this simple trade that I took that made me the 6.3k. This is why you guys should join my Discord. I will be going live. So you guys can see everything that I do, all my progress. You guys can hold me accountable. You can also hold each other accountable for making silly mistakes that set you back a lot. It was 2 trades, but officially it was actually 1 trade until I re-entered, until I scaled in my position, which I typically don't usually do. But with this position, it made sense. So I dropped my risk. So since I risked 3% on this trade, I decided to drop my risk to 1% a trade. I decided to drop my risk to 1% a trade. And this is exactly how it went. I'll break you guys through it all. So as you guys can clearly see, we are on an uptrend. We are now going bullish. And for me, if I go into the bigger time frames now, on the daily, I was looking at the daily, I see that we had 2 rejections from like this support zone here, which I initially marked out for shorts because my assumption was we was going to continue going short. I still think we are in a bearish trend, but so basically we had 2 rejections from this zone, and my assumption was now we will have a continuation at least up to 4573. So basically I was looking at the higher time frame, and it was an easy trade for me to take. Literally at 2:30 I entered longs. I put my stops below this low because, as you guys can see, we wasn't breaking any lows from here. So my assumption was, obviously it's not really a trend like that, but this was a simple assumption for me. Like, the markets were getting super volatile. I put in with 1 position. I took longs for 1 position, and I didn't put my stops to break even or nothing. So it was a full position. So when I entered longs, so when I did enter these longs, as you guys can see, I was up almost 2% on this 1 position that I did have. And then what I did do is, once we did come back down and we didn't break the lows, I basically kind of taken a risk. But what I did was I put my stops on my first trade all the way up to 4522. And then I'll give you a reason as to why I done that in a second. Once we come back down and we tap my break even. And then I also rescaled and put another position at 4522 also. So I was risking 1%. So I was still risking 1% to make 6. So it was a 6 RR trade. I know it says 4 here. So my TP was 4567 and 4563. So it was even less than that. It was actually a 3-to-1, but because my first trade actually was all the way up to a 6-to-1, so I could pass in 1 trade. So what happened was, as we come back down and tap my lows, I basically moved my stops up. The reason as to why I done that, because like I said previously, we didn't break no lows that are here, right? So now, because we didn't break any lows, my assumption was that once we do come and tap my break even, I could basically put my stops back at break even and re-enter my position. And also I'll get a shorter stop loss now, or a TP now, which to me kind of made sense. So as we did come back down, right, as you can see, we closed above the previous low, we closed above the previous high, which means now that my assumption is that we will continue going bullish, and this is just a pullback for more people to scale in the position to continue the bullish trend. So literally, as soon as we tapped my break even, I waited a little bit, waited for a spike up. As soon as we spiked up, I basically just took longs straight from here, moved my stops to 4521, if I'm correct. I can double check this. So yeah, 4529 even my stop loss was. So my stop loss went all the way up, 4529 even, and then I just run it, and it literally tapped within the next half an hour, as you guys can see. So that was officially another pass with FundingPips. Like, I was on an emotional roller coaster just because it was taking so long. Like, for me, as you guys can see, like, I was on this phase 2 since the 20th of April. It's currently the 30th of May. It means that took over a month just to make 6%, which is very long for me. And as you guys can see, I've got my payout currently on June 1st with a 2.8k payout. My current P&L for this month on my funded account is 5,000. So now I have another account with FundingPips. So that's 200k with FundingPips. I will probably buy another account with them, and I'm gonna scale up with 5%ers. Also, I will be buying accounts with them. I'm just currently waiting for my 100k. Like, if this trade setup didn't come miraculously, I would have had a major setback, and it would have probably taken me another 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 1 month, just to get that pass. So I basically took a big setback, but thank God I found the right setup, scaled in within my position, and it was basically the perfect trade. So yeah, subscribe.